So like when you go through that, like how do you evenly distribute do you guys evenly distribute the work within the partnerships, or is it like for your restaurant you've said that like one person's kind of in charge of one thing? Like how do you guys do you guys just stay in your own spectrum basically?
We do. We do kind of stay in our own lane. You know, so for like the golf course and restaurant, I actually pay all the bills. So I do all the accounting for it. Um, Jeremy, he's one of the minor partners, and he's the one that has the experience in the restaurant. So he ends up being our general manager day to day. Now he actually works and gets a paycheck
Oh,
from the golf course too. So he kind of crosses the line a little bit.
mhm.
So he's an owner, but he's also an employee, where like I don't get paid unless the golf course and restaurant make a ton of money that I can take out. I don't get a paycheck for the work, like paying the bills. I don't get paid to pay the bills.
Okay.
Um, Zach, the other partner, he kind of handles all the golf side of things, the golf league. And then Darren in Kansas City kind of acts as the CEO. So he is, so he kind of acts as the glue, right? So he'll initiate the communication. He'll make sure we all are talking or are all on the same page. So it's been I think that the challenge for that is because like I work at Green Prosthetics and that takes a lot of time, that I don't have the availability to be down at the restaurant or golf course on
Right.
a regular basis, where like Zach is a teacher, right? So he's doesn't work in the summer and he's off at like 3 o'clock. So he can actually go to the restaurant and, you know, repair something, fix something, you know, meet with the golf leagues and stuff like that. So we don't have, and so we don't have equity or equal responsibilities. We
Mhm.
more, our responsibilities are split up based on what each of us kind of brings to the table. Does that
Okay.
make sense?
No, that makes perfect sense. So like did you
Yeah.
guys establish this work plan, or like your guys is like what you guys are gonna do to break down like specific tasks, or was it kind of just an agreement and you just knew?
No, and we actually um probably did it later than we should. Um, we had to rehab that whole entire building. So we had to kind of repair everything, get it ready, like the restaurant and stuff like that hadn't been touched in 15 years. So it was like disgustingly old. And, you know, so we spent a lot of time, three of us, actually working. And in that time, kind of rehabbing the building, we started kind of discussing some of the roles and responsibilities. Well, that was super exhausting, you know, plus working at Green Prosthetics, that when we kind of got done, we just gave it to Jeremy, like run it.
Uh,
And we should have taken the time to actually hash out roles and responsibilities, expectations, and things like that. So it kind of came to like a crash, so to speak, where we had to kind of all come back together and be like, wait a second. Yes, Jeremy has experience, but he doesn't have the high end business ownership experience to
right.
be able to do it effectively. So then we all came together and we really hashed out roles and responsibilities. Here is specifically what each of us are in charge of, and here's our expectation on each other, and you know, typed it up, wrote it down, right? And then, you know, had multiple discussions about it, and then implemented it, and then added a lot more, like I said earlier, a lot more of the like better communication, who answers to who. So if they want to spend money on something, they have to come to me, right? And I have to authorize it, right? Well, Darren can spend money, but you know, the other two, you know, and anybody in the organization has to kind of, you know, get permission, not for pencils or
Right,
stuff like
right. But like
if they,
bigger
yeah,
things.
right. If they wanted to buy a new oven, for the restaurant, they have to go through me. And then I would walk them through, like, how old's our oven now, blah, 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 blah. Right.
Yeah.
So much more like specific checks and balances. So
Mhm.
no one person kind of could run it into the ground. Like, even reporting, we all have different types of reporting that we communicate to each other,
Mhm.
so everyone, like, they would know if I decided to stop paying the bills, they would know, right?
Right,
So
exactly.
every time feet are held to the fire, so to speak.
Okay, no, that's awesome. So you guys like figured it out after the crash. That's all that mattered.
Right, right, right.
So what is a strategy that you use to hold people like accountable to like do their job, I guess, and everything?
So I would say the the most important thing when it comes to whether it's like, you guys working on a group project at school or an organization that has 4 partners, is to agree on what you're trying to accomplish, right?
Mhm.
Then the steps it takes to accomplish that goal, and then putting a date on it. That is like
Mm.
probably the most important thing, is when there's a list of tasks or steps that need to accomplish, is always have who. I always say it's the 3 W's: who, what, and when,
Oh,
right? So who's actually going to get it done, what is the task or step, and then when is the date you want it done by.
mm.
And if you're always following the 3 W's, now no one likes to be that one person that doesn't have their boxes checked, right?
Exactly.
It's
Especially
much more, yeah, it ends up being much more like successful. Things move along faster. You aren't revisiting something. You aren't reminding someone that they were supposed to do something, because it's written down now, right?
right.
Instead of like, well, I don't remember having that in our last Zoom meeting. Well, like, nope, it's on the spreadsheet. Remember, your initials, the task, and the date